That was probably the most memorable moment. I was like, oh my God, no, I'm like living in a simulation right now. Like, like that's crazy. That's crazy. Yeah. So my name's Julianna, or Joy, I guess. I'm from Chicago. I started writing music when I was 11. Pop music has always been something I've wanted to do and always something I've gravitated towards. I decided to start writing it seriously probably when I was like 14, and then started doing it professionally when I was 16. And 5 years have passed, and here I am. I started like playing guitar probably when I was in second grade. That was like probably the earliest indication that I wanted to do music. But my mom told me that when I was a baby, one of the only things that would calm me down was like the baby Mozart, like lullaby tracks. And I used to bob my head to the beat. And she was like, at the time, she didn't think anything of it, but it makes a lot of sense to her now because neither of my sisters did that. She's so mellow. Yeah, I think something about me that I actually love is I will like tell people my influences and they'll be like, I don't hear that at all. And it makes me happy in a way because it's like, I'm so glad that I like have the ability to love so many different kinds of music and to take the pieces of it that I love the most and like apply it to my own and create something completely new and separate than the reference point. So like when I think of like how I started writing music, like Taylor Swift was the reason I wanted to start writing music. But at the time that I was really getting into writing music and starting to take it more seriously, I was like heavy in an emo phase. And then throughout high school, you know, I was in choir and I was in a cappella, and more arrangement style and musical theater style music was like super important to me. And the way that I approach my music now is if I enjoy listening to it, then I feel like I've done something right. You know, I get really frustrated with music that sounds really similar for no other reason other than I know that there's more at the bottom of the barrel, if that makes sense. And it just excites me to create something that is so different and can pull from every genre and still feel cohesive. So yeah, I honestly think it continues to grow the further into the industry I get. The way that I started writing music and the way that I approached it in the beginning, I would say, is not how I do it now. Like the way that I wrote the first 2 EPs, for the most part, was me sitting in my parents' living room at the piano that I got as a gift and writing them by myself and then taking them into the studio to be edited. And now, at least with the EP that I'm currently releasing, it was all stuff that we wrote on the spot. I didn't really come in with anything. It was just like, let's see if there's something there, and then just so happened that there was something there. And I think half of that has to do with like just where I've been at musically. I'm always finding new music. I'm always wanting to attempt to create something different. I think also like there was a period of time where I didn't want to write anything by myself, and a period of time where I didn't want to write anything for my artist project at all. So I took some time off and I wrote for other artists and other songwriters just to kind of regroup on what I wanted to do. And I think a lot of that evolution just has to do with kind of knowing where I was at and trusting where I was at, just knowing how to get past what I needed to do to make good music. It was so fun. It like solidified for me for sure that the dream is to be a touring musician. It's always what I've wanted to do. I've always wanted to play stadiums and play big shows, and just like going on the road with my friends and my band, and like going and getting to play places that I like hadn't even heard of it was just so fun. And like Seattle is definitely like my new favorite place to play, and I loved playing in San Francisco and Portland as well, and it just got me really excited. Xana's also just like one of the nicest people I've ever met. She like so supportive, also so funny. Like she's just hilarious, and I really enjoyed getting to like get to know her. Like her and her sister were just unstoppable. throughout this whole thing. So yeah, it was super cool. There's like a couple. So the opening song that I play on for my sets is a song called Unhappy that has not come out yet, which happens to be the title track of the EP that I'm in the middle of releasing. That song is always really fun to play because I think, honestly, and this is my hot take, it's like my best song. And I always open with it because it like gets the crowd into like a very specific mood, and it like loosens it up a little bit at the same time. It's like angry and like aggravating, and it's so fun. But I think the one that's the most fun to play is probably Orange. I close with that one, and at the end I encourage everyone to scream at the top of their lungs with me, and it's so therapeutic, and everybody does it with me, and I'm not the only person screaming on stage at all. It's so fun. It's like ridiculous how fun it is, and my band loves playing that song, so it's like the energy goes into that like 1,000%. I like never really know what to say for this question, because like if I would rather be a fly on the wall in like half the sessions that I would dream of than actually like be a participant in them, like I think the answer will always be I want to work with Jack Antonoff, just hands down. I met him in January this year, and he was just like such a stand-up dude, but I was so awkward because he's like an idol of mine. So I didn't blow it, but I definitely wish I had prepared a little bit more to meet him. But I would definitely like dream of working with him. But I think also like Lorde falls in that category of like dream collaboration, but almost in the sense of like I would just want to be in the room and I would want to watch her create the music. I don't even know if I'd want to participate. She just has such a incredible and so like thoughtful process around her music that I just would like I'd honestly like rather learn from it than like actively write on whatever she's working on, because whatever she's going to come up with is going to be 10 times better than what I suggest. I just want to know how she works. I think that's like my main thing. There's definitely like a couple, but I think the main one was in June of 2021 we were finishing recording Garden of Eden. We were like putting final vocals on and doing final mixes, and Teddy Geiger and I had booked out a couple of days at Jim Henson's studios in Hollywood, kind of polish off the vocals, polish off the mixes, and I think the most memorable thing was taking some illicit stuff and meeting John Mayer while on that illicit stuff. That was probably the most memorable moment. I was like, oh my god, no, I'm like living in a simulation right now. Like that's crazy. Oh my god, it was so scary. He's such a terrifying man. It was like nuts. Like I couldn't even speak to him. He just like he had his entire team with him, and I was not in the sound like a sound mind to like accept the path in front of me. So I just went through the back entrance. He was standing right in the front, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna leave. Oh my god, no, it was funny. And then I think Slipknot was recording down the hall from us as well. So I was just in the like path of musical legends and not here to do it. Yeah, it just felt like the most music industry I'd ever been. I've been almost 4. I moved in February of 2020. I was like literally freshly 18 and moved to LA, and then 4 weeks later had to have like the conversation with my mom of like, do I move home or do I come back? And I ended up staying. I decided that I was going to stay throughout the pandemic because I was like, if I can handle this at 18 and like handle like probably the scariest thing that will ever happen to me, wiser words have never been spoken, but I stayed, and I'm glad that I did, because I feel like living here throughout the pandemic taught me so much about myself and what I need and my structure as a person. So yeah. So Acid Tab is about this guy that had a situationship long distance for 2.5 years, like almost 3 years. And it was about like the last time that him and I kind of started talking and, you know, trying to see if maybe we wanted to get back into that phase. I had just broken up with my boyfriend from my senior year of high school, so it was like a very natural rebound to go back to. And he had told me when we had started talking again that him and his girlfriend had just broken up, so it was supposed to be like this like perfect, like, oh my god, let's just like use each other as rebounds. And then I, as one does, went and stalked him on social media because I hadn't like paid attention in a while, and found that the day that him and I started talking again, he was out on a date with the girl he claimed to have been broken up with. And they had been together the entire time. And I called him out on it, and I was like, look, like, I don't want you to fuck this up with her. We need to cut contact. Like, I am so tired of you deciding that when she's not enough, you're gonna like splice together what you need with me. And that's not fair. So like a year later, I ended up writing Acid Tab in a session, my first session ever actually, with D. Lily, who produced this entire project with me. And I think I had like a dream about him, like, and having to like see him in person, that like kind of re-sparked all the anger that I felt around our breakup, I guess. And it was just really fun because it was like a very dark and like experimental pop song, and it sounded like nothing that I had been making at that point, and it was just really fresh. And I felt like a lot of what I was working on was like we were trying to finish the Garden of Eden EP. Like, we hadn't even finished it at that point, and everything that I was making kind of felt like it wasn't the next step that I needed to take to create a better project. I like always want to strive to make something better. So that's kind of what Acid Tab is. And like the meaning behind being an Acid Tab is like, you can't just bring me into your life when you want to feel something different, because the moment I leave, you're going to feel exactly the same. So yeah, I thought it was a good metaphor. I've never taken acid though, so. In terms of events, I'm playing a So Far Sounds show next Thursday, October 26th. I don't know when this will come out, but if it comes out before then I'm doing a show in LA. Otherwise, it's going to be a slow winter for me. I don't have much planned other than other new music. I don't have the EP release date on hand, but expect one. And if anybody's looking to book an opening act for a tour in the spring, let me know. Because I would love to be that person so bad. I don't have much going on other than just vibes and working on new music, and gonna try to survive the seasonal depression of winter. I guess like stream Acid Tab, I guess, or like pre-save it if you want. All my socials are Julianna Joy 69. My inner YouTuber is like, oh, coming out. Can't be the acid tab.